So now, if that's the business that you're in, then my question is, what difference does it make to have something like RTP as your neighbor, as opposed to going forward with the same kind of university without that kind of neighbor? Here's a way to put it poignantly. When you drive through RTP, it's all trees, but hidden in the trees is RTP. But what if there really just were the trees there, which is pretty much what was here in 1957? My answer is going to have many parts. First, and to me most significant, a creation like RTP supplies a community of intelligence and active inquiry that no one university could create on its own. We all know that we live in a world of the knowledge economy. We all know how many features of economic growth and everyday life come out of discoveries that originated in obscure laboratory and research settings. But one of the things we don't sufficiently remember is that the knowledge economy does not and cannot thrive just everywhere. The knowledge economy only thrives when there is a certain kind of ecosystem around it, a landscape with certain kinds of ingredients and certain kinds of relationships that stimulate and support knowledge creation in specific ways. The first feature you need in that ecosystem is the phenomenon of critical mass, a community of people who are similar enough in focus and training to be able to talk to each other, but different enough in focus and training to be able to provoke each other, strike sparks from each other, and lead each other in unexpected directions. For the university and for each of the RTP's tenants, the research triangle's main function is that it supplies that critical mass. The massive growth of RTP and the three universities has brought a very large population of very smart, very highly trained people into a relatively small area, so that the creative classes concentrated in the triangle are among the most highly educated in the United States. I was told that there are more PhDs per capita in this region of the country than in any other, which I promise you was not true in 1957. The result of this is to create a community of inquiry far more sizable than any one school or university or academic department could create. Conversational partners and potential colleagues in areas running from IT and biotech and nanotechnology and bioinformatics to the study of the environment and green technology and all the others that you know about. So first of all, an effect of mass, a community of intelligence. Secondly, the main thing a university always needs, that universities rise or fall on the level of talent they're able to recruit to themselves. And if I were to ask myself, another major benefit we get from the proximity of RTP is that it is an extraordinarily powerful recruiting tool. People come to us partly for the colleagues they'll find at Duke, partly for the colleagues they'll find 2 miles away, 6 miles away in the research triangle. They come to us partly for the academic attractions, but partly for the amenities and qualities of life that have grown up supported by the population of the universities and RTP. And let me now mention what is a very unobvious but extremely potent recruiting effect of the presence of RTP, and it is this. A large portion of the graduate students and faculty that we want to attract are married to or have as significant partners people who are just as well educated and often just as professionally ambitious as themselves. I can stand here and tell you, if your university is the only industry in town, it is extremely hard to solve the problem of recruiting couples like that. But if universities have other universities and the whole landscape of research around them, there's ever so many opportunities. And sometimes we help RTP recruit by having a place for someone in the university, and sometimes the other way around. So I've talked about collaboration partnership, I've talked about recruiting. I would furthermore say, for many of our students who come to Duke, they look to RTP as a place that gives valuable resources of experience in internships and employment, research opportunities, and these begin during their time at Duke, but sometimes continue after graduation. At our engineering school, we have what is, I think, regarded as one of the #2 or #3 ranked biomedical engineering departments in the country. Students who come to that program love to find opportunities to work in RTP, in internships, in labs, and actually upon graduation, 4 of our students have founded companies that are now located in RTP, and who knows how many of our students now work in RTP. So there's a kind of supportive relationship. On our business school, the Fuqua School of Business, many MBA students have chosen companies located in RTP to do their summer internships and then stay on for jobs after graduation. And I might specifically mention that RTP has helped partner in managing the Startup Challenge in our business school and the Entrepreneurship and Venture Capital Club. So think what that means for us. Our smart students provide stimulation to colleagues in RTP, and the opportunities of RPT give our students practical education and support the culture of entrepreneurship, which is then becomes such an important part of their education. Groups of colleagues, recruiting, hands-on experience. Now I'll mention a really unobvious advantage of the RTP here, which is the RTP promotes collaboration among universities that might not take place if we didn't have RTP as a partner. American university, you're here from many countries. You know that the American system of higher education is one of the most incomprehensible in the world. There is no system. There's everything in this country. There are secular universities, there are religious, there are public, there are private, there are large, there are small, and there's no system coordinating anything of it. So it's the sort of patchwork interaction of unprogrammed miscellany that gives American education the strength that it had. But the relation that typically pertains among universities is either of separateness or indeed of competitiveness. We are all very keenly aware of how we are ranked. Our colleagues compete for federal research dollars. We all compete for the top faculty. We all compete for the top students. This competition, no doubt, has many good effects, but it does mean that there's very little in the internal structure of American academic life that furthers the idea of collaboration among universities. But this is where something like RTP can be helpful. RTP entities have helped our local universities discover mutualities of interest and forms of collaboration that we would not have discovered on our own. Here I'd mention everyone in this country is now so interested in questions of energy and sustainability, partly for their consequence for the climate, and now the idea has become widely accepted in this country that solving the energy challenges of our time may not only provide climatic benefits, but also economic benefits in the generation of new industries. And you will not be surprised to learn that every one of the 3 universities in this area has people who do important work in the energy sector. But their work tended to be rather separate from each other until the intervention of RTP. An organization in RTP called RTI, the Research Triangle Institute, has spotted the mutualities, the possible mutualities of interest in our energy groups and helped bring together a consortium, RTEC, Research Triangle Energy Consortium. They spotted the fact North Carolina State is especially strong in issues having to do with electrification of transportation, smart grids, things like that. UNC had people who were national leaders in questions of solar power. Duke has people who are national leaders in questions of carbon sequestration and the things that need to be verified before clean coal technology is likely to make much progress in this country. RTI helped understand that all these things could be brought together both in ways that would be mutually supportive, in ways that would make us competitive for national grants, and in ways that would make RTP the natural regional convener for conversations about energy, so that we have partners from all over this area, and indeed from the United States, now coming to discussions that are being fostered here.